Hi, I am Michael Brand. I'm Rovan, a first-year nursing student at Pangasinan State University Bayambang campus. Today, I am going to perform both medical and surgical hand washing. But first, I am going to execute the medical hand washing. Medical hand washing is a form of medical asepsis which involves practices and procedures that reduce the number of pathogens causing disease.
To start the actual performance of the medical hand washing, stand in front of the sink without touching the sink so as to prevent the contamination of microorganisms as well as preventing your uniform to be wet. Next, turn on the water using the hand-operated control faucet. Then wet your hands and apply soap to cover all of the surfaces of the hands. Hold your hands lower than the elbow so that the water will flow from the least contaminated area, which is your forearm, to the most contaminated area, which is your hands. Then apply an amount of 5 ml of liquid soap. Then rub it to your hands palm to palm to obtain a good quantity of foam. Then apply the WHO step for the medical hand washing. Rub your right palm over left dorsum with fingers interlaced and vice versa. Next, rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Next, rub the back of the fingers to the opposing palms with fingers interlaced or interlocked. Then, rub your right hand clasped in right thumb and vice versa. Next, rub the back of the fingers against the opposing palm and vice versa. Next, rub from the wrist to the upper forearm and vice versa. And then wet your hands thoroughly under the running water. Next, dry your hands using a paper towel. Make sure to just use a pat dry. Do not scrub vigorously, as moist skin chop readily as a dry skin. Then, after using the paper towel, discard it to the trash can. Then, use again a new paper towel to grasp and turn off the water. Then, after turning off the water, discard again the used paper towel. Then, our hands are now safe. Next is the surgical hand washing. To start the actual performance of the surgical hand washing, stand in front of the sink without touching the sink so as to prevent the contamination of microorganisms as well as preventing your uniform to be wet. Next, turn on the water using the foot pedal and then wet your hands thoroughly under the running water. Make sure to hold your hands higher than the elbow so that the water will flow from the least contaminated area, which are your hands, to the most contaminated area, which are your forearms. Then, perform the pre-scrub wash.
Mag-lever. Tingnan mo yung cellphone nila sa messenger yung napapatay. Yung call. Yung call nila mama sa messenger, tingnan mo. Tingnan mo, hindi nila alam yung ngayon? Hindi, tingnan mo, hindi pa nila napatay na kapag sa pangila. Tingnan mo si Papa.
Next, get the nail cleaner and the sponge at the top of the scrub sink that clean under your fingernails to remove the transient and resident microorganisms embedded under your fingernails.
Then, discard the nail cleaner at the trash located at the scrub sink. Then, turn the sponge and use the abrasive side of the sponge to scrub the fingertips. Use circular movement with 30 strokes. Next, turn the sponge and use the non-abrasive side of the sponge to scrub the digitals. Use 5-stage stroke on all 4 sides of the fingers.
Then scrub the forearms by mentally dividing it into thirds with circular movement and 10 strokes on all 4 sides of the forearms. Then repeat the same procedure with the other hand.
Next, rinse the hands thoroughly under the running water, making sure that your hands are higher than the elbow. Then, allow the water to drain to the sink. Then, proceed to the operating room.